Yeah, so I brought this all together because many students came to me as individuals and asked me, like, what are we going to do? Because we looked to our administration and they weren't doing much. We had a few grief counselors in school, but there wasn't even so much as like a moment of silence or anything over the announcements. And so I felt, and I talked to many of my peers, and we were all tired, and we needed a vent. We needed somewhere to place all of our energy and all of our anger and all of our pain. And so then I organized this over the course of just 3 days through telling people, text, and then I put out a flyer last night, and we had a very great turnout from these 3 schools.
You surprised?
No, I'm not surprised at all because I know the youth of Pawtucket. I know their spirit, and I know that they will come out when they're called upon.
You feel endangered in your school?
I don't feel safe walking in my city. I look to the news and I see nothing but pain. I see nothing but people attacking people that look like me, hurting kids that look like me.
Talk to us about the SRO issue here in Pawtucket. The Pawtucket Police have been dogged by complaints from citizens and students alike for several years now. This is sort of murder capital USA. What's it like to have in your schools?
Absolutely. I'm all for counselors, not cops, and the removal of SROs. People in my school feel as though there's not much that the SRO provides, and what we really need is mental health resources and counselors. My school has just under 900 students, and you know how many counselors they have? 2. There's 2 counselors in our school for over 900 students.
Talk about the physical conditions in your school. Are you noticing deterioration in terms of doors or physical infrastructural security?
Absolutely. As one of the 2 major high schools in Pawtucket, my school was last renovated. We had our bathrooms renovated about 4 years ago, but our school, aside from that, our school had a last major renovation, and I believe it was the 70s. Our schools are falling apart. We have windows that cannot open. We have doors that do not have alarms. There's very, very poor infrastructure in our school. It is not a place where kids feel welcome. It's not a place where kids go and feel like they want to learn. It's a place where kids go because they have to.
Do you feel safe in school?
I do not.
Did you have any pushback from administrators or teachers, or are you supported tonight?
I did not have much pushback from administration, mainly because I tried to keep it as low-key as possible and only among students. They found out over the course of this morning. I believe there was an email sent out from the Pawtucket School Administration to parents, just alerting, not really pushing back. There wasn't much pushback. They didn't stop us at the doors or anything. And for that, I thank the administrations at our schools for letting us do this.
Now, there was an announcement yesterday by Governor McKee saying that all school districts are going to be doing walkthroughs, conducting surveys as to, identifying these potential safety hazards, what's going right, what's going wrong. What's your message to those superintendents who will be conducting those surveys through your own high school?
I asked just to listen to the students. The students know what we need. Listen to them now. Involve us in all of your talks. Involve us in all of your committees and all of your discussions. The students know what we need, and
There's a group of parents that identify themselves as Parents Rhode Island, primarily from rural school districts, things of this sort. They're complaining that, number one, this wasn't a student-organized event, and that, number 2, because, as they describe, your school is filled with, and I'm quoting them, this is not a personal statement, that your school is illiterate, that you shouldn't be out here today. What's your message to these fascist parents that are making these comments?
Absolutely. I saw some of those comments, and I just want to say that this was 100% student organized. I organized this myself along with a few of my peers. It was 100% student organized. No one pushed me to do this. No one pushed the students to do this. And as far as the literacy rates in my school are low. They are low, and that's not because we're protesting and standing up for our rights. That's because we have lack of funding. That's because our school infrastructure is falling apart. We don't have enough books for kids in our classroom. Kids have to share and double up on books. It is not because, and just because a student may have difficulty reading or is improficient in math, doesn't mean that he or she cannot stand up for their rights.
And could you say and spell your name, please?
My name is Zachary Pinto, ZACHARYPINTO.
One question. Who do you fear most if there's fear out there in the streets? The Pawtucket Police or your neighbors?
Honestly, I do have a deep fear of the police because of the color of my skin, because of the way I look. I know that people like me have been targeted for many years. My neighbors, I know they have my back, but then also there are neighbors and there are people in our community that have deep rooted hate for youth, have deep rooted hate for people of color, have deep rooted hate for members of the LGBTQI+ community, and that genuinely scares me.
There's an officer, a gentleman by the name of Officer Dolan, who was arrested and having been captured on video, attempting to, and actually did shoot another young man from another town. There had been complaints levied by the community for a number of years about Officer Dolan's belief, including videos sent to Pawtucket administration. Does this surprise you or shock you?
It does not surprise me. In my young life, I've heard many rumors about the Pawtucket Police Department and about their failures, and it does not surprise me that an officer like that can go so easily and stay within the system. And that is why I believe we need to repeal things like Leobor and not reform it. We need to have a full repeal and have our officers held accountable.